Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 15th of October 2019. Just going to run through the pairs. So we still have the dollar Swiss franc pending up here. This is an interesting area because we had this area of demand which was tested. We went down to the parent here, but it looks like we go to low, go to here. This was tested here once. When price went around here, we removed this supply. Up, it bounced on it once. First we bounced on the child, then the parent, and then this one cut through the parent. And so the slingshot was pulled back to the highs here before it managed to remove both child and parent, and actually moved all the way back down to the origin of this move higher. This was actually a beautiful area, and we've mentioned this area just down here in previous symposiums. This is a very nice area, really nice continuation pattern, a rally, accumulation, and a very sharp departure up and away. We have this one here, which was tested by here. This one here. This one cut it out, removed it. So this is the one you trade. We probably take that like that. Okay, tested once, twice. This is the one that cut through it. This is just reacting to this and to this and to this and to this. So all of these are actually kind of linked together. So the origin of the move that moved through it is here. Okay, so we have this one here, which I like very much. So we take 2 times the size of the area, which is brings us about the top here. This is tested once, twice, and now this one left. Okay, so this one went very deep into the area. It came back down, and you can see. So we had this here. Okay, so this is the beginning of the buy zone. Price went up. It almost came back to the buy zone. We went a little bit deeper. Then it went past the buy zone, found some buys, and this is the one that removed this here. And so when you see something like this, you want to start to look lower. Okay, so this one's no longer there, and so you mark the area off. The slingshot was pulled back to here, and we maybe have something like that in here. So this is gone. We'll remove that, and you take the 2 times the size of it. Here we have the candle, so about 2 times the size, about here. This is roughly where price went to. We had a bounce, 1 bounce, 2 bounce, the 3rd bounce went through it. This is the one that cut through it. So this is the origin here to here, 2 times the size. Went down, so this one's almost cut through it, but not quite, and so we don't have an area of demand that is responsible for consuming this one, because it's not really consumed just yet. Okay, but when you look at this, price has been back to here, came a little bit deeper. That's telling us something. What it's telling us is the beginning of the sell zone is here. Okay, so price will have to, you don't want to sell this for a price any cheaper than the high of the deepest retracement. Okay, and if you're a little bit higher than that, you can see that we have this beautiful sell-off, test, slingshots, pull back, and then we have a departure. So looking to sell up there where we have our entry. So that's a pretty interesting one, so we'll wait, see what happens there. The American dollar, sorry, the Euro American dollar, let's have a quick look here. Let's do our analysis from scratch. So we'll go put on defaults, everything's fresh and removed. Note that we are reacting at weekly demand. That's pretty important, so you've got to keep that in mind. That means that we are going to see a shift in flows, a gradual shift in flows. It's not going to happen overnight, but you'll slowly see a gradual increase in bullish positions when price reaches weekly areas of demand like this. Okay, so price is kind of reacting there. You're going to see the signs of this happening on the smaller time frames. And so, I mean, if you're using the currency strength histogram or the GFX, you're going to see something that looks like this. We've got price that's moving deeper, but the histogram is moving higher. What's that saying? Well, that is telling us that we're reacting at weekly demand. And so price is just seeking liquidity to drive price higher, which is what we're seeing here. And the histogram will be telling you the exact same story. So if we have a look at this, let's go to the 4-hour chart and zoom out. Okay, so we need to find these areas that have been removed. So we had this, tested, removed. The area that did it, let's have a look. The origin of the move that did it is here. But if you look at this, you can ask yourself, well, has price been back here before? It has. It certainly has. Where has it been back here before? It's been back here and here, of course. And so we want to move this higher. So the sell area would be here, here, and 2 times the size, so about there. That would be an interesting area to sell. Also, you can see very clearly that here we had some tests at this area here. Tested once, twice, 3 times, and then price finally cut through it. So the area that cut that out is up here, okay, which is where our entry is to sell, or will be to sell. So we can plop that in there. It's going to put a new order. This is 7 microlots. I'm only risking 0.25% per trade, okay? And again, these are my trade ideas. This is my account that I'm trading. You don't have to do any of this. This is just me showing you what I'm doing. You don't want to do it, then don't do it. But don't take the trades based on what I'm doing, which are roughly going to result in some losses now and again, and come and say that it was my fault. Just you trade at your own discretion. This is super important. This is just me opening my books and showing you what I'm doing. Okay, so we'll put that in there. We'll turn on the stop thingy. Cool. Put it there. Okay, so this is 69. So this is where the target is. As 1 times and 2 times is going to be about there. So we'll leave that there and see what happens. I like that very much. Let's go to the Aussie American dollar. See what's happening here. Well, we have a few things setting up. Let's do our analysis from scratch once again. Okay, default. So what's going on? Let's go to the weekly and have a look at these flows. Again, notice that we're reacting at what? At monthly demand, the top edge of monthly demand. We're also in buy zone territory, which is price points that are lower than the low here. You can see the price has moved below that, and now we are doing something. Okay, we don't know what we're doing here, but you can see that we're pretty low in the curve. Does that mean that we want to sell or buy? We don't know yet. We only can see that we're very low. Okay, and when you're low, what does that mean? Well, that means that we're advertising a pretty low price for the asset, be a currency cross or gold or whatever. So this is just telling us that we should maybe look to start to buy because it's pretty low. So if you have some currencies that you want to exchange, you want to be doing at the extreme levels here to get the biggest value for the exchange. So if we go down to the daily chart, and we can see that we had this here. Okay, let's zoom in a bit so I can do this. And this is interesting to us because we had, okay, so we had price here. Actually, let me do this. We had price here. It was taken out by what? By this one. This one was taken out by what? By this one. Tested is taken out by what? By this one. This is not the origin of it, but this is where the move took place. Okay, and so price came close to it and we left. Okay, so that's what we have there. And if we look a little bit lower, you can see that we had, I'm looking at this resistance here, we had this, doing this. You can see we had many attempts to push through it here. Then it finally happened there. So what is the origin of the move that did it? Well, the slingshot was pulled back to here. So let's have a look at that. So we have visitors from Denmark just arrived. They've been traveling for, I think it took almost 23 hours to get here, so they're all swimming in the pool and cooling down a little bit, so there's a bit of background noise, and I apologize for that. Go to the 4-hour chart, and you have a look. Yeah, slingshot was pulled back to here. You can see on the 4-hour chart, it goes to this one here. If we keep going, you can just keep moving this lower and lower and lower. So we have this one here. Price has already been back to this one here. Beautiful area. We're reacting to this. We're probably going to start looking lower. Okay, so if you keep going lower, then you'll find these smaller areas. We have it here. Okay, you can see these micro areas forming, and if we have a look here, let me find something that's important. We can see we had all these lows here, a lot of tests, price finally moved through it. The area that did it is here. Okay, so this one is gone. What area took this one out? Oh, this one did down here. Just going to delete this one. So this is the area that took it out. So I'm going to put an entry right there, which is what I've done. So I'm expecting that to do something. I can see I can adjust my entry. Why? Because this is the candle to the left. What's the low of the candle? Let's go to the smaller time frame and have a look. You can see actually the price came down, it came up, it came down, then it came up. And so obviously the entry should be close to the origin of the move. And the origin is here. You can see it right there. So this is where our entry to buy will be. So let's have a look on the bigger time frame and see what that looks like. You can see here we have this here, and looking at this, we have a pullback here. When price left here, we managed to move through here, and this is not very clear on this time frame, but you can see that, I mean, price managed to come back here. I mean, I like this, I see this, and I really like this. And so we had this area here. And first of all, let me draw these off. We had some resistance here. It was tested here and here. This area here, remove that. This area, remove that. And this one has been removed by something below here. You can look at this and you can maybe say, well, something around here. But notice that we have wicks, which would make me feel a little bit more interested in looking lower. And so for this, I would actually get rid of this. I'd zoom out and I would look lower. I would look here and I would go 2 times the size. About there. And then I would go back to the bigger time frames and see how that looks there. Yeah, that's pretty low. Okay, so if you go to the weekly, yeah, we're really low, and so we're actually moving into fresh monthly demand with our hourly entry, which I feel more confident with. Okay, so I think that might be a pretty interesting trade to have a look at. I'm not going to put it on yet. I'm going to leave it in there, and I'm going to come back to that because I just like the way it looks there. So we'll leave that there. Okay, let's go to the dollar CAD. We had a bounce. Okay, we've got to find these areas. We had this one here. I'm just taking the wick. I'm also looking for where price came back to. This is kind of telling us where the edge is. Here. We went up, but we didn't manage to move through it. You can see we didn't close and trade above it. So this one kind of held. If we were in this trade short, which we actually were, the stop would have been something like that. 2 times the size of the area, and we'd still be in safe territory. So we had 55 and prices moved 135, so we've done about a 2.5 to 1, so not a not a bad deal. But if you look here, we want to find, you know, I can't see anything. I have to go to, I want to see it clearly. So we have this, and this is interesting because we had this. Okay, tested once, this one, they removed it. This one was taken out by this one here, which has just been tested, and our price is wriggling away. So what do we do? Well, for the time being, well, there's not a lot to do. And so what I'd do in a situation like this is I would look up here and I would look for these major areas that have been consumed, and it's kind of difficult to see what we have. Okay, so we had this one which was challenged by this one but not consumed. So this is no good. Price cut through it. So this one is still valid. What we could do is we could look at the lows of these. Okay, you can see we had a lot of tests here. It was finally removed. Here, price tested it and then we left. This is still active. So what do? Well, you could go for another test and the entry would just be a little bit higher. And if you look, if we mark off this here, go down to the smaller time frame, let's say the hour, and you want to have a look and see what that looks like on the hourly chart, which we can see here. So you can see price has already been back to this level here. So here we have a child, here we have the parent, and looking higher, but there's no clarity, so we need to look for fresh supply above. So where do we have that? We have this child that was tested once, twice, and it was gone. What was it removed? It was removed by here, by this here. Okay, price has not been there yet. Let's confirm. No, we're still pretty far above price, which is nice. So this one would look like that. We tested once, twice. This would be the third test. I wouldn't feel that comfortable doing that, so I won't trade that. But what I will trade is I'll look for something that happened here. And I want to look for it on a bigger time frame, more profound time frame. So if you look here, you can see that we had. Okay, we have to do this properly now. There's not a lot of clarity here, so we had a lot of tests around here, as you can see, and it's gone. You see it's taken out, and the origin of the move is here, but I don't like that terribly much. But this one's gone. The one that did it is this one, okay, which has been tested once, twice. This is the one we came to, but looking above price, this is on the 4-hour chart. We have this area, point out why, test, kind of race through. The one that traded above it, it's kind of here, the lows. It kind of left from here and it went higher. We tested that, we came down, and we moved through it. So that means that we have something here. So I'd be keen to sell up here, and the software found this for us very accurately. So I go back to the daily chart. I'll delete this and I'll put my one like that. It's a pretty big area, and I would just trade that. And that's a 65 pit stop, and that is a 130,500 area. So I'll put that in. That's 5 micros. Selling, sell, 134.98, and I'll plop that in there. Set it to expire in a week. Done. There we are. So we'll leave that and see what happens. And that's what we have. You can see price has been here, where here. It's already been back to this, that where here. It's already been here, where here. This is a fresh supply. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'll wait for. Dollar yen. What do we have here? Well, start from the beginning. Clear all those out. Looks pretty funky. Zoom in. Let me save this as a new template. Okay, good. So we have, great, so we have this. We have this. Okay, it was tested once, twice, and this is an area of demand because when price left here, we managed to move above this micro supply here. Tested once, pushed through. So let's analyze the smaller micro areas first of all. So this one cut through it. It was here. This one is gone. Was the origin of the move that did it. Here. Tested. Gone. It was here. This one's gone. Which one did it? This one did. And this is just being tested now. So that's an interesting area being tested. This one's of course gone. Let's have a look inside this and see what we find. Okay, looking at this, we've got a smaller time frame. We want to see, okay, we can see higher. You go like this. So first of all, we want to mark off this because we can see that there's something going on in here. See, this is gone. We need to go to the hourly, I think, or maybe even further down to see what that is. Not there. Oh, that's close. Maybe the 15-minute if I have that much data. Fingers crossed. Okay, here it is. We have it here. We could almost see that on the other time frame, so we have that here. Tested once, twice, and now it's gone. What area did it? This one, right here. It's pretty small. Let's see if price has been back there yet. It did. This is exactly where price went to, more or less. So this is what we're reacting at. Okay, so we could wait and see what happens there. I'm going to remove this. This is what we're reacting at currently. Let's see, the highs of this candle are 108.62. So about just over 20 pips. Sorry, just under 20 pips north of this area. And this is where we attracted liquidity, attracted the sellers to move price lower. That's what we have there. Matter of fact, but I'm going to want to try and look in there a little bit high. We might not get into there because it's already gone, but we do have this price bounced. We moved through this. You can see this one's gone. What area did it? This one here. So we could do something there. Remove that one. Leave this one on there. Let's have a look on the half an hour just to make sure. Yeah, this looks okay. Like so. 2 times the area. 1, 2. About like that. Test. Move. Sit on the area. Cut through. Dump, dump, dump. So the slingshot was pulled back to this area. This is where price is currently sitting. Okay, so that's maybe interesting. Let's have one quick look on the daily to have a look and see where we are. You can see we're pretty far up in the wick. Yeah, you can see also, I mean, looking at this, price has already been back to this area here and here. Okay, so my gut feeling is to look higher, and so I'd be looking to do something up here. So price has not yet been here. It's been up to here, but it hasn't been up to this area here, so I'd be inclined to look higher. You can see that here. Let's go to the 4 hour and have a look inside. Yeah, now you can see it a little bit clearer. And here we had this, tested, almost went through it, and then it went down. So this is a pretty interesting area here, I think. But keep in mind, again, there's these levels here and here. This is kind of the only fresh area above price here. We have a candle to the left. So we had this was tested. This one cut through it. So maybe around here. Maybe something like that. Okay. So I'd be keen to get involved once price gets up there. It's still pretty far away from price as well, so there's plenty of time. And on the daily chart, you can see right there. I'd be keen on doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to put that one on. So that is 4 micro lots. Selling 110.35. 35. Let's whack that in there. Perfect. Perfect. Good. Go to the pound American dollar. So we looked at this one here, but it's a little bit kind of standing on the skinny leg, which I don't like. So what I would be more inclined to do is look at this. This one's gone. Which one did it? Well, there's something in here that did. Let's have a look. What? There it is, right there. Tested. This one cut it out. The one that did is actually here. Let's delete that one. Refresh. So that's what we have down there. Okay, and that's below the pull, the slingshot that goes up like that. But I don't like these when they stand. When I see this, I want it to come all the way down to the origin. I don't like these kind of these legs that they stand on. So I would certainly look there. And looking higher, I mean, I wouldn't do anything there. But looking higher, we have a nice bounce there. Okay, so when price left here, right, accumulated, we move this supply, which was tested once, gone. Price went to that area once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. This is gone. The origin of the move that did that. So looking for the green candle before the pierce. We kind of have that up here. This one cut through it. This one's gone. Which one did it? This one right here. This one's gone. Delete. Delete. And we have this there. And the software found it nicely for us. So I'd be keen on looking around here. But I want to have a look in here because the software says this is an important area. So let's go to the hourly and look. Maybe it is. Oops. I want to look inside there and see what all the fuss is about. Here. Yeah, this is why we have this. Tested once, twice, 3 times. Now it's gone. And the software likes this one. But see here, the software's been back to this level here and here. So I want to look higher. Price may easily come back to this area here. But the more interesting area for me at least would be from about like right here. Let's see here. And higher. But when I see this as well, I see already. So I'd be keen on looking higher. And this to me looks like a test of supply more than does supply. Oops. So I'd be keen on looking at this little price structure here. So we had a test here. Let's use this one. Tested. The one that cut through is this one. So I'd be okay maybe looking at the candle to the left. See if we can find it really clear on a half an hour. I don't know if I have it on half an hour. It disappeared on me. Half an hour. Okay, here. Yes, there it is, right there. So this, I'd be keen on looking at right there, because this is simply price testing this area, and this is on the release. Price has not been back to this area before, so I'll be keen to say, all right, let's have another stab at that area, and I'd probably put a couple of times the size of the area, go to the 4 hour so I can see it, or the daily, and then I'd be keen on looking just there. And you can actually see here, you can see it right there, can't you? Price went down, this one took out this one took out that one, this one moved through, and so I mean something like that I think would be fine. So I'll put that in 130.42. And this one cut away, so I'd go to the high of the candle to the left, maybe there. Okay, so the 130.74. I'll plop that in there. Down. Cool. We don't know what opposing demand looks like just yet because it hasn't formed. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. We'll leave that and see what happens. Good. Aussie CAD. Yeah, still waiting for this one to come. We had this one. This one took out this supply, which is tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Probably popped through, tested a bunch of times, and now it's gone. The area that did it is this one just here. So we'll leave that on there. See what happens. Not interested in that down there. Aussie franc. See, we had this one is tested a few times. Price left here, and we took out this supply that was tested a few times. The origin of the move is down here, but then we found, by the looks of it, an hourly demand. Yes, we have it right here. Just here, so we'll move this down there. Just below the pullback, and this is one that kind of pulled back and caused price to rally through. Okay, so we'll leave that in there. This one's gone. Aussie, Singapore. Do we have anything in here? Nothing in here. Let's get rid of that. You're a Kiwi. Let's clear all these. Clear this off. Look at the weekly. We're getting pretty high, aren't we? So we had this. Took the highs of this area, tested. This one's now gone. The area that did it is the white accumulation distribution there. This is still holding. Tested once, twice, 3 times. Now maybe we're going to have another shot at it. So as long as this one is still around, we can wait. The beginning of the sell zone is the high of the deepest retracement. I just like this one here because this is kind of the origin of the move that kind of contains all of these continuation patterns that push price below and through all of these areas. So this is an interesting area. If we zoom in a little, we can see here that kind of a messy area, but the slingshot was pulled back to here, and this is where the move away started from the high of this candle that left this accumulation distribution candle here. So we'll leave that in there and wait and see what happens. Dong is dollar Singaporean. Actually, let's just get rid of this. So we have this one here. We have that one there. Let's have a look at this. What's going on? Well, so we had this that was removed by this. Okay, the candle was pulled back to here before it left. Brings our attention to this. This also looks like we had testing here. Testing, price cut through. This is the area that caused that. So we go down to the smaller time frame. I don't like all that trading in there. I prefer this one up here, which is why I've done it, because this is where we have a clean kind of breakaway, slingshot, and then the green candles away. So I would leave what we have. Let's have a look at the daily. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of, I think we could probably, you can see how this nice kind of cutaway. I mean, this candle didn't close here. This one is the one that moved above these. This one here, and this one is the one that, actually this is the one that caused this area of demand to be consumed. This is micro demand. And then price moved away from here. Okay, so this is higher, a little bit more conservative, so we'll see. We'll leave that in there and see what happens. Okay, so I just had to send my family off to school. We're giving our guests a tour of the green school here. Okay, so we have a departure candle. The high of that is here, so this is where we want our entry to be, and our stop can be, you know what, we'll do this. We'll put a new one on. So what we have 4 micros at 109.24. We'll plop that in there. 1-to-1. We'll put it around here. This is where we have opposing stuff. What I like about this one, we had this high here. We managed to move below this low, so we have lower highs and lower lows. I like that. But note also that we are also in this monthly demand. But also notice that the price is kind of moving pretty deeply into it. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens. We'll leave that on there and see. So that looks pretty interesting. Actually, if we look on this time frame, we can actually see that price has already been back to this level, here and here and here. And so this would make me feel inclined to move this and just see where the highs are, because this is the beginning of the sell zone. So I would probably actually do this and feel much more confident doing that. But also notice that we have this, which was tested. The origin of the area that did it is from here. So this looks pretty interesting. So I'll leave it at that. Okay, there's no real supply here. This is interesting here. We'll probably have a bounce here, just there, because we had a lot of resistance there, which has been removed, and the area that did it is this one here. So we'll see what happens once price gets there. We'll see. We'll leave that on there as well. So we have parent, child, but this one's reacting to this one, this one's reacting to that one, and this one is reacting to that one, and this is reacting to this one. And so we may very well go up to the highs of here, which will bring our attention to this one before we depart and move lower. But we'll leave this one on there and see what happens. Boom. Perfect. Sorted. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Right, let's go to euro pound. That really sold off. Cool. So let's have a wee butcher. So we have on this time frame, we had a lot of buying here. This is probably daily demand. Tested. It's gone. The area that did it is this one. Tested. Gone. The area of this one that did it is here. But notice that there's something going on in there. Yes, here it is. The pin bar points to the edge of the buy zone right there. And so, I don't know, you go like that, 2 times the size, maybe here. So this is where it went to. And now this one is gone. Note, this one is almost gone. Okay, matter of fact, let's force some good habits. We have this one here. Tested once, twice, 3 times, it's gone. The one that did it is this, but I like that, no green candles, but I do like this one here. So I'll mark off the high. 2 times the size about there. That's a pretty interesting area. So that would be a really good place to get out of the trade, above that. And you can see in here, like micro supply, tested, consumed by this one. So this would be a pretty interesting area to get out. We also have this one here, which will probably also test, probably also give us some support, which we're seeing here, but we've already been down there, so we might want to look a little bit lower. There's nothing there, no demand, there's nothing. We have something in here. It's been removed by this, tested, so that's still in play. So what do we do? Yeah, what do we do? There's no clear anything in here until we get down here, or until we move higher. And so for this, for the time being, for me, there's nothing to do. You go to the hourly chart though, there could be some things. You know what? I'm just going to leave it. I couldn't be bothered to force anything. We'll leave that. There's nothing there for me. Let's have a look at what do we have. Let's have a look at the dollar, Singaporean dollar. Yes, so on the weekly, well, this is clear. On the weekly, so we have okay, so we have, you got to find where we had all these bounces. So we had this one here, bouncing this. I'm going to move that down here. I tested, cut through. The origin of it is here. The candle to the left, the high of it, tested, it's gone. The area that did it is the low of the green candle. So we'll go like that. This one's gone. The area that did that one is this one. This one's gone. The clear area of demand that removed that is right here. Looks interesting. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour and have another look. See, we had this one. Tested, removed. So this is the one we want to get jiggy with. Get jiggy with it. Okay, we'll try that. So we'll put that in. Pending by 136.56. 136.56. That's fine. And where do we want to get out? Well, we have this. Tested a bunch of times. This one did it. And this one did that. So around here. Just got the lows. We'll go right there, just below. Come on. Stop messing around. We'll leave it at that. See what happens. So that's what we have down there. If you want to get a little bit specific, you go down to the smaller time frame and have a look at the candle that left. So if you look at this, see, we have this base here. It's kind of tested here a bunch of times and then left. So you could do this if you wanted, and I'm going to, because I don't like drawdown. I'll leave that like that. That's pretty cool. And I'm going to put in this rectangle right there just so I know where it is. And then this one I'll leave here. Here. So I know where that is. Zoom out. And that's pretty, look, that's where the green candle comes back before it leaves. So I like that one a lot better. I better move it a little bit higher so we get past the spread. That's pretty cool. We'll leave that in there. I like that. Daily, that play, we'll leave it in there. Right, should we have a look at, I'll look at Bitcoin last, the pound Kiwi. Ooh, getting high on the weekly chart. We have this really nice area. Tested, removed by this one. Alright, the beginning of the sell zone, come on, is here. We're getting close to that, so I'm going to go in and have a look at that if I have enough data. and see if I can see what's inside. It's downloading here. Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? Price comes just to the bodies of these. Here's the candle to the left. This is where price went to. The candle to the left is this one. The high of it is here. So if I go to the daily, maybe I can see, look at that. See, I like this one a lot nicer. So we have testing, once, twice, removed, slingshot, dump, right there. So that's where I'm going to shell. Yeah, I think I'll have a go at that. So I'll put that back on the weekly. Oh, that's a little baby. But we'll use that one there. We'll plop that in there. We'll put that up there. 35, what's the big one? 28. I'll put that down there, the opposing bit. It's been tested, so we have that. There. I like that. Okay. Cool, well, 46 minutes, that's a long time. I'm not going to do anymore. But if there's something specific you want me to look at, let me know and I'll be absolutely thrilled to do so. We'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Any questions, please post them either in the video or in the member section. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yeah, that's it. Enjoy the day.